It is time for this week's Editor's Cut. It was a big week of news for social media companies, not just the biggest companies like Meta, as Mark Zuckerberg testified at a major social media trial, but also for companies like Snap, which announced its subscription offerings crossed $1 billion in annual recurring revenue. We, of course, also had a story from our own newsroom about Pinterest and the code reds at that company as it seeks to improve its recommendation algorithms, keep people on the app, and measure advertising effectiveness better. To break it all down, I want to bring on Martin Pearce and Meredith Mazzelli, who I know have thoughts on the social media sector at large. Martin and Meredith, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here.
Hey, Akash.
You forgot to say your favorite editors, but yes.
Favorite editors, right. Okay, fine. My favorite editors, Martin Pearce and Meredith Mazzelli. Okay. I actually say that with everybody, by the way, so it doesn't really mean
it doesn't mean anything.
Martin, I want to start with you. I want to start with the numbers here. This year so far, Snap, Reddit, and Pinterest are each down nearly 40%. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that the reason varies for each of the companies. Reddit has been on an incredible tear since its IPO in 2024. It rose as much as 700% through September. So I think the stock has just come down for different reasons. It's obviously very expensive now, and the growth has been slowing a bit as it would. Pinterest revealed recently that its fourth quarter growth was well below people's expectations. Pinterest is blaming tariffs, forcing a group of its major advertisers from pulling back, which has hurt them. Snap is just Snap. Snap is this company that is small. It's run by one guy. He treats it as his own thing. It really shouldn't even be public anymore. So Snap just has a constantly disappointing performance, and the market doesn't like it. And the stock's now trading. I think this past week it has traded at the worst level ever since its IPO, which was 9 years ago.
So let's go to Reddit, though. I mean, Reddit has, we've written a little bit about the AI play for Reddit, all the data that it's sitting on. I mean, this business is not one that you think could pan out here?
No, the AI part of Reddit, which got a huge amount of attention when it went public, is actually a very tiny amount of the total revenue. I'm actually writing a story about Reddit for this weekend, so I don't really want to step on my own story, but I can tell you that the AI part is just minuscule.
Okay, so that is the Sunday Insights.
No, that's right. The advertising is growing much faster. So I think the AI stuff was massively overplayed.
Okay.
But you'll have to read Sunday Insights for more details.
I was going to say Sunday Insights column. Look out for that one. That's a nice cliffhanger. Meredith, let's go to you here for. I know Pinterest is a company that you've studied a little bit, and you've looked at the sector. What stands out to you here?
Yeah, so I think it would be helpful to kind of go through the AI threat to the actual user base for all three of these companies. This was one theme that came up in our Pinterest story this week, just how much of a threat is there from AI chatbots actually taking users away from these various apps. And I think Pinterest and Reddit are probably the two most at risk, whereas Snap is a little safer. And the reason I say that is Pinterest is a place you go for ideas and inspiration. It's a place where I think the classic example is if you're planning a wedding, you make a Pinterest board and pin the bridesmaids' dresses and the invitations and stuff you want to buy, but stuff you really need some inspiration to figure out what you want. And I think that that's something that a chatbot can kind of step on the toes of, where you're going kind of asking a chatbot to curate these kinds of things for you. And I think it's a similar situation with Reddit, where there's a lot of different subreddits for nearly every category you can think of, but some of it is people looking for advice or people looking for product recommendations, beauty tips, things like that. And I think that that is also something that instead of crowdsourcing it from Reddit, there is that risk that more and more people are going and doing the same thing, with an AI chatbot.
Can I just interrupt here, because this
Yeah.
is leading both to a Snap is in a good position, which by definition cannot be true.
Well,
Secondly, as a Reddit user, I don't really think I'm going to be like, oh, I won't look at it because I've read this AI written summary. What I'm looking for is individual people's experiences, which is what you get with Reddit. So I would push back at you that AI is really going to hurt Reddit, and I would also push back at the idea that Snap is protected. That Snap is, well positioned in any way about anything.
Okay. Well, but hold on. But okay, but we're talking about the AI threat. I mean, I see Meredith's point here. I mean, why would AI replace the need to, for us to send Snapchats to each other and us to connect with each other that way?
Okay, fine. Such a small
all right,
business.
point. Yes.
I just
Okay.
don't. Okay, fine.
All right, fine. So, but anyway,
Scoreboard down here. Yeah. All right. There we go.
the underlying, yeah, I mean, look, it's a
Such
comprehensive
a
picture.
small company. I mean, really, who cares?
I mean,
there's
it's not
the-
going
there's the
anywhere
ads
here, but
business,
the AI
there's-
is the problem. Yeah.
AI isn't the problem. Fine. Yeah, I guess Martin, and we also know that the spectacles business is also one that I don't think
Yeah,
Martin
spectacles
is
business.
is very bullish on. Okay. So Meredith, I want to come back to you though.
Yeah.
Ann Guillen, our e-commerce reporter who wrote that story earlier this week, she had put forth this prediction late last year, that maybe a company like OpenAI could be a buyer for Pinterest as it seeks to spread its wings. And I mean, it got me thinking about who you think could be a buyer for Pinterest. Other than OpenAI, are there companies that come to mind for you?
So I think Amazon should have bought Pinterest years ago, is one fun thought experiment. And I think the reason, just backing up a bit, that prediction that we made with OpenAI buying Pinterest got a ton of attention because it has been seen as an obvious acquisition target for some time now. And there's been various rumors and various things, like various ideas that have come forward. When it comes to Amazon, I think there's a really compelling argument for they offer a different type of shopping experience that Amazon would arguably like. So you go to Amazon when you know what you want to buy. I want paper towels that are delivered tomorrow morning. That's great. But when you're going to Pinterest, again, you're really looking for ideas and curation, and you don't know quite what you're going to buy. You want to spend something eventually, but you're not going there with a specific idea in your head. So, I think that could be an attractive type of place for Amazon to play in. That being said, Amazon already has a pretty significant advertising relationship with Pinterest. So they, I think it was a few years ago now, basically made it so that you can click through Amazon ads from Pinterest inside that app, and you go to the Amazon site. So again, like they're kind of getting a little bit of that Pinterest vibe without having to actually own and operate Pinterest. So they may be getting what they want out of that relationship already. I know anytime you say Amazon and M&A in the same sentence, people will think antitrust. I mean, Pinterest is already like a third tier ad player at best. So maybe that's less of an issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think Amazon, again, it's an interesting thought experiment, but if it's kind of like they would have done it already if it.
I also think that it's too small for them. It's not going to move the needle. I think that Pinterest is more appealing to a smaller company. And I can't think of one right off the top of my head, but it just feels like it might fit with a smaller commerce firm for which it could make a bigger impact.
What about I don't know, eBay? eBay did a deal.
Not eBay, but what about something like PayPal? Because there
was a rumor a couple of years ago that it was a PayPal or eBay was actually interested in buying it. And it sounded like that was actually true. So, yeah, I think that's more likely than even OpenAI. I can't see that happening myself.
Okay, so Martin, last idea for you. What if these three companies we're talking about, Snap, Reddit, Pinterest, I mean, they're all advertising business. What if they just merge?
No, Evan has control of Snap. It's his little toy. You have to understand, Snap is Evan's toy. He's not going to do anything with that toy that would threaten it, and he doesn't have to. He's just, it can just trundle along as this.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm asking you if you think it would be a good idea if you merged.
No,
let's say
they're too different.
Yeah.
I think that they're actually too different.
Two
I
different.
think
Okay.
Snap stays public as Evan's toy. Pinterest will get bought eventually. Reddit, I'm not sure. I mean,
Well, you clearly read Reddit a lot, so the business is very healthy and in the long term, it seems. Okay. Well, all interesting ideas all around. I want to thank you both for coming on. That is Martin Pierce and Meredith Mazzilli, my favorite editors here at The Information.